Good morning, my dear student. On the behalf of KTGM College Nasik and Department of Chemistry of this college, I am Dr. S.R. Loveday, welcomes you to the lecture on electrogravimetric analysis. Student, in previous lecture we discussed the instrumentation of electrogravimetry, that is a electrolysis cell. We discuss all the components which are involved in electrolysis cell, and we also know the function of each component which is involved in electrolysis cell. Student, in today's lecture we discuss the applications of electrogravimetry. Applications of electrogravimetry. First important application is electrolytic separation of metal ions. Electrogravimetry particularly suitable technique for determination of metallic species or a metals which undergo reduction with a deposition onto the electrode. Therefore, here first example of this is the separation of copper and nickel from the mixture using a technique called as amphorostatic electrolysis. Student, in previous lecture we discussed that different techniques of electrogravimetric analysis, and electrogravimetric analysis basically classify into two types. First type is electrolysis with control cathode potential, that is called as potentiostatic electrolysis. Second one is electrolysis without control cathode potential, that is called as amphorostatic electrolysis. Separation of nickel and copper is possible by amphorostatic electrolysis because amphorostatic electrolysis process is applicable for separation of two or more metals which differs widely in their reduction potential. And therefore, here in this case, here copper 2 plus 2 electron gives copper metal. This reduction will be takes place at plus 0.337 volt. Similarly, nickel 2 plus 2 electron gives nickel, and here this reduction will be takes place at potential minus 0.250 volt. Therefore, here copper and nickel are like to opposite side of the hydrogen, and those are differs widely in their reduction potential. Therefore, separation of this copper and nickel is possible by a amphorostatic electrolysis process in which there is no requirement to control the cathode potential. Therefore, in this case we discuss how the separation process is actually utilized for the electrolytic deposition of copper and nickel. Here copper 2 plus is deposited in acidic medium while nickel 2 plus is deposited in alkaline medium. So initially sample solution is acidified with sulfuric acid solution, and it is then placed into electrolysis cell. Here cathode and anode are inserted into the electrolysis cell, and the potential across these two electrode is increases. That will be increases 0.337 volt, and for complete deposition it may be increased up to 0.400 volt. But the potential greater than 0.00 volt is avoided, 0.4 volt. But the potential greater than 0.4 volt is avoided because there may be chance of deposition of other compound or other impurities present in the solution. Therefore, here copper from the solution is deposited at this potential where nickel remains in the solution. Therefore, after deposition of copper, the electrode is removed, that is cathode is removed, and another cathode is inserted into the electrolysis cell. Then sample solution is made alkaline by adding ammonia or ammonium hydroxide solution so that nickel is get deposited. Then the potential of cathode or potential of working electrode is increases to minus 250 volt, or sometime it will be more than this and up to minus 0.315 volt, because here the potential is increased more negative in order to complete deposition of that nickel, and therefore here 0.25 volt to 0.32 volt, that is a sufficient potential to deposit nickel onto the cathode by electrolysis process. Therefore, here in this case we can carry out electrolysis separation of copper and nickel without controlling the potential. This is possible because copper and nickel widely differs in their reduction potential. So, while depositing copper, nickel remains in the solution, or here there is no interference of nickel in deposition of copper. Therefore, it is possible. Similarly, we can discuss the application of a potentiostatic electrolysis process, and then a separation of copper, lead and tin from mixture, and this separation is possible only by controlling the potential. Then it is called as a potentiostatic electrolysis. Potentiostatic electrolysis is a process applicable for separation of two or more metal ions which are closely related to their reduction potential. Therefore, here potentiostatic electrolysis is the method used for separation of copper, lead and tin SN. Therefore, here copper 2 plus, Pb2 plus and SN2 plus are present in the analyte solution. As we know, copper is deposited 0.337 volt, lead will be deposited at 0.126 volt minus, and tin will be deposited at minus 1.136 volt. Therefore, here if we observe the reduction potential of these three different ions, here you will observe that Copper differs widely from the reduction potential of lead and tin. Therefore, by means of amphorostatic electrolysis method, we may separate copper from lead and tin. Because here, when we are depositing copper onto the cathode, lead as well as tin remains in the solution. Therefore, it is possible. But when we separate the copper, after that for separation of for separation of lead and tin, we have to use in this case, we have to control the reduction potential of this lead ion by inserting a third electrode, that is a reference electrode, along with the working electrode or cathode. Therefore, reference electrode control the potential of the cathode and it will be maintained to this value so that only lead is deposited while tin remains in the solution. Therefore, in this case, when two or more metal ions having their reduction potential to very closer, then a amphorostatic coulometric method is not suitable, amphorostatic electrolysis method is not suitable, then potentiostatic method is suitable. Therefore, copper and nickel can be separated by amphorostatic electrolysis method, but lead and tin can be separated by potentiostatic electrolysis method. Student, now we discuss the another applications of this electrolysis process. Next application of electrolysis process is the determination of equivalent weight of this substance. Therefore, here we have to discuss the application of second law of electrolysis in determination of equivalent weight of this substance, and that we discuss here with specific problem. Here a new organic compound, that compound was deposited onto cathode after electrolysis. The increase in weight of cathode was found 0.1616 gram. 1616 gram, and the total electrolysis process was completed by a flow of 0.421 ampere current strength for 325 seconds. Now here problem is that what is the equivalent weight of organic compound which is deposited. In this case, a newly synthesized organic compound was deposited by reduction process onto the cathode. After electrolysis process, the increase in weight of the cathode means amount of substance deposited was found to be 0.1616 gram, and for this deposition total electric charge require a current strength of 0.421 ampere for 325 seconds. From this we have to determine the equivalent weight of that organic compound. Student, we know that from the Faraday's first law of electrolysis, W is equal to Z into I into T. In this case, Z is a electrochemical equivalent. That is a quantity of material deposited by 1 coulomb electricity. Therefore, we can write here W is equal to equivalent weight upon 96500 coulomb into I into T. Chemical equivalent can be converted into electrochemical equivalent by dividing 96500 coulomb. And therefore, from this we can find out equivalent weight is equal to 96500 coulomb. Equivalent weight is equal to W into 96500 coulomb divided by I into T. Now we have this relation, amount of substance liberated into 96500 coulomb divided by quantity of electricity. And here when we solve this, we have here W is 0.1616 gram into 96500 coulomb divided by current strength is 0.421 ampere into time is 325 seconds. When we solve this, we have 15594.4 gram and here into coulomb divided by 136.86 ampere second means that is again a coulomb. And therefore, here when we simplify this, we have a equivalent weight is equal to 113.7 gram. Therefore, equivalent weight, that is a weight of substance which is liberated or deposited by 1 Faraday electricity. Electrolysis method for determination of purity of substance. Purity of substance. Now here, if we have to determine the purity of substance, then also electrolysis process is applied, but we know the stoichiometric relationship and Faraday's law of electrolysis. Suppose for example, we have to determine the purity of CuSO4 sample. CuSO4 means copper sulfate pentahydrated 5H2O sample. For that purpose, we must have a relationship CuSO4 5H2O corresponding to copper corresponding to equivalent weight of copper. That means here copper will be deposited by taking 2 electrons, and therefore here we have to consider the equivalent weight of copper. If we find out the molecular weight of this compound, that is 249.6 gram per mole. Here molecular weight of copper is 63.6 gram per mole, but equivalent weight is half of this, that is 31.8 gram equivalent. Therefore, here 1 mole of copper sulfate containing 249.6 gram, when we electrolyte this much gram of copper sulfate solution or this much gram of copper sulfate compound, then we can obtain 31.8 gram of copper. That is a equivalent weight of copper. That is according to Faraday's law of electrolysis. And here, suppose we can reduce this, if we divide this by 100, this by 100, this by 100, then we have 2.496 gram corresponding to 0.636 gram corresponding to 0.318 gram of copper. If we obtain 0.318 gram of copper, and that is equal to molecular weight, then we can say that that is 100% pure or 100% purity. And in this case, suppose for example, we have a sample of 2.5, for example, sample of 2.55 gram of copper. If it gives only 0.300 gram copper, then what is the purity? Therefore, here in this case we can have 100% pure. Therefore, in this case, if we have 2.500 gram of sample of copper sulfate, that gives only 0.300 gram copper, then what is the purity? Therefore, by cross multiplication method, we can write here 2.496 into 0.3 divided by 2.500 into 0.318. When we solve this, we can have answer 94 into 100, because we have to express this purity into 100%, and that is equal to 94.19% pure. Therefore, here in this case we can easily determine the purity of the substance by electrolysis method. For that purpose, we must know the stoichiometric relationship and Faraday's law of electrolysis. Student, now we discuss the next application of this electrolysis process, and that application is in the organic synthesis or a reduction process of organic synthesis. Student, we are familiar with this compound, that is 2,4,6-trinitrophenol. This 2,4,6-trinitrophenol, if we have to reduce it, that gives the 2,4,6-triaminophenol, NH2, NH2 and NH2. Here for this reduction process, we have to require a suitable reducing reagent. This is a reduction, that is 2,4,6-trinitrophenol, that is called as picric acid. This picric acid is converted to 2,4,6-triaminophenol by reduction process. If we carry out this reduction by a organic preparation method, then we have to require 2 or more than 2 catalysts for this purpose. But by electrolysis process, it is very simple. Simply we can place this picric acid in a electrolysis cell and we can carry out the electrolysis of this compound, and here generally it is done in acidic medium, and therefore here in presence of acidic medium, this reduction is easily carried out, and here the substance may be deposited onto the electrode that will be collected very easily. We achieve the purity of the precipitate or purity of the compound, which we have does not obtain by a presence of catalyst. In this case, if we use a catalyst as a reducing reagent, then catalyst is also get added into the main product. And to avoid the impurities of catalyst, we can carry out this reduction by electrolysis method. About the applications of electrogravimetric analysis. In addition to this, we also determine the normality determination of the solution. Normality, that is number of grams equivalent of substance present in a 1 liter solvent. And therefore, here we can discuss this, how this normality is determined by electrolysis method. And the problem is like this: a 25 ml solution of potassium hydroxide was completely neutralized in presence of H plus ions by electrolysis method. The electrolysis was completed in 25 minutes by a current strength of 0.5 ampere. Calculate normality of KOH solution. Now, in this case, 25 ml potassium hydroxide solution was neutralized in presence of H plus ion by using electric charge. For complete neutralization of this much amount of KOH, electricity required, that is a current strength of 0.5 ampere for 25 minutes. Now, here we have to find out amount of substance liberated or deposited by this much quantity of electricity. We have to find out quantity of electricity, we have to find out the amount of substance liberated by 1 Faraday electricity, and that is the equivalent weight of that particular substance. Therefore, we know that here quantity of electricity Q is equal to I into T. Therefore, here I is 0.5 ampere, T is 25 minutes into 60 seconds, and that becomes 0.500 ampere into 1500 seconds, and finally this value becomes 750 coulomb. This is a quantity of electricity which is associated with this much amount of electric charge. Therefore, we can find out the coulomb. Once we know the coulomb, after that we can convert this, we can find out this coulomb, we can convert this coulomb into Faraday, and we know that 96500 coulomb, that is 1 Faraday, corresponding to 1 gram equivalent. And when it is present in 1 liter solution, then it is 1 normal solution. Therefore, here 96500 corresponding to 1 gram equivalent of KOH. And when it is in liter, then it is 1 normal. Now, here we have only 750 coulomb corresponding to how much gram. Therefore, here amount of substance here in this case, that is 750 into 1.0 gram equivalent divided by 96500 coulomb. When we solve this, we have this figure 7.772 into 10 raised to minus 3 gram. That means this is the amount of KOH associated with this much gram of electric charge. Therefore, here this much gram present in 25 ml, and we have to find out amount present in 1 liter, that is the equivalent weight. And therefore, amount present in 1 liter is equal to, we have to consider the dilution factor, or hey, since 25 ml solution is contain here 7.772 7.2 into 10 raised to minus 3 gram KOH. And therefore, 1000 ml contain how much? Therefore, in this case, this 7.772 into 1000 divided by 25, and when we solve this, we have this quantity this is ml, this is ml, then we have this quantity 0.311 gram per liter, means here this much. Now these are the not gram, these are the gram equivalent and per liter, because here we consider their equivalent, gram equivalent. Therefore, these are the gram equivalent per liter, and therefore number of gram equivalent per liter are the that much normality. Therefore, normality of KOH is 0.311 normal. Student, in this way we discuss the different applications of electrogravimetry. Here, electrogravimetry widely useful for separation of metal ion, as well as determination of purity of substance, determination of equivalent weight of substance, determination of normality of substance. With this, student, we complete here the total electrolysis process. Now it is time to invite you to my next lecture. Thanks for joining me. Wish you all the best. Keep learning. Happy learning.